I want to help you level up your running in 2023. I think it's a perfect time of year to think about how we can improve things next year, how we can get better, and how we can take our running performances to the next level. In this video, I want to help you do exactly that. Let's talk about how we can level up our training, our running, and our race performances to reach all of your running goals. And I want to start by talking about a new way to think about your New Year's resolutions as they pertain to running. So when it comes to your New Year's resolutions for runners, I want you to think about what you can add, what you can subtract, and then what you can keep the same. So addition, subtraction, and just leaving things be. So when it comes to addition, what do you know you should be doing in your training that you're not doing? Now, there's a lot of different things, and in my coaching experience, there are quite a few fundamentals that runners are often missing in their training. So for example, a lot of runners I know aren't doing a dynamic warm-up before they start their runs. And in my view, a dynamic warm-up is a performance multiplier. It has virtually no downsides. It's gonna not really do anything negative to you. It's not going to injure you. It's not going to make you too tired. It's not going to contribute to overtraining syndrome. The only negative is that you potentially have to spend an extra 7 to 10 minutes warming up for your runs. So there is a time investment, but you're going to gain general athleticism and coordination. You're going to gain strength. You're going to reduce your injury risk, and you are going to feel better at the beginning of your run. So in my view, there's so much to love about a dynamic warm-up, and I'm actually quite amazed that most runners aren't doing it. Now, it's not just a dynamic warm-up. Us runners should also be doing strides 2, maybe 3 days a week. I just did a wonderful podcast with coach and amazing trail runner David Roche, who talked all about developing power as a runner, and a big part of that is regularly doing strides. So maybe it's strides, maybe it's a dynamic warm-up, maybe you're not consistent with strength training, or you'd like to level up your strength training by getting in the gym. What are the things that you can add to your training that are going to make your running a lot better? Those could also be things that aren't necessarily training related, but that are lifestyle related. So for example, maybe you're not great at getting a good night's sleep. Okay, well that's a great performance multiplier that you can add to your lifestyle that's going to improve your ability to recover, that's going to improve your ability to adapt to all that training that you're doing, and you're going to become a better runner for it. So there's a lot of things that I think most of us understand we should be doing that we don't necessarily actually do in our day-to-day training lives. So look back on your training log, look back at all the things that you're not doing but would like to do, and make a commitment this year to start gradually adding them to your training. Trail running can be demanding. The technicality of the terrain, all those rocks and roots and uphill sections, downhills, the elevation changes and turns of trail running are also demanding, and they require demanding gear. And that's why I'm thrilled to partner with Bombas. Use the link in the description with code STRENGTH20 to save 20% off your first order. If you're running trails, then you need a durable, high-quality sock that has really great stitching, that is really going to protect your feet when you're out there on those technical trails. And I'm thrilled to partner with Bombas because they make exactly that. High-quality socks that have excellent stitching, that also are just really attractive. And I love supporting a company that is doing such great work to help runners. They have great stitching, and what I really love about that is that you're not going to find a lot of stitching near the toes. So if you're someone who gets a lot of blisters, especially if you're out there trail running, Bombas socks are going to protect your feet with a very, very small stitching right near the toes on their socks. Plus, what I love about Bombas is that these might be not only the most comfortable socks you've ever worn, but the most charitable socks you've ever worn. For every single pair that you purchase, Bombas is going to donate a pair to the needy. So it's a win-win for you, for your feet, and for communities that need that extra support. So use the code STRENGTH20 at checkout with the link in the description of this video. Save yourself 20% off with your first order at Bombas. And thank you, Bombas, for helping support our YouTube channel. Now, I do think we should also be looking at things that we can subtract from our training. And this is where having a coach or a very experienced runner in your life to help you with this is going to be really valuable. You can look at your training and think about all the different things that you might be doing that are counterproductive. Some of those things that I see regularly in my coaching practice are racing way too often. We're talking 4 or 5 marathons a year, or someone who races a park run every single weekend. Well, if you race every weekend, then you can't really focus on any one weekend. So there are ways that you can race too frequently, and that really takes away from some of the overall strategy of your training schedule and your racing. So besides maybe subtracting some races so that you can better focus on the races that you are going to schedule, what are some other things that you might take away from your training to make it better? I see a lot of runners who don't really periodize their faster workouts, for example. And so what that looks like in practice is that they're running 1 or 2 hard workouts every single week. Every single week, doesn't matter if they're base training, doesn't matter if they're 3 weeks out from their goal race, it doesn't matter if they're 30 weeks out from their goal race, they're always doing these hard workouts. And I've found that you need periods of time where your body is just building up the capacity for harder training, not necessarily doing the harder training. And usually that looks like a lot of easy mileage, good long runs, strides, maybe a weekly workout, but it's not very difficult. It's tempo pace or slower, it's a fartlek, it's a series of easy hill repetitions, something to get the legs turning, but overall you're focused more on strength, on endurance, and on building up your aerobic metabolism. Great things to take away from your training if you're someone who races too much or someone who just does very hard workouts all the time. And you'll notice that there's a similarity between those two. They're both very intense. Of all the mistakes I see, it's runners doing too much intensity but not enough mileage, not enough volume. If we can flip that script a little bit where maybe you're doing too much mileage but not enough intensity, that's a better mistake than doing too much intensity and not enough mileage. And of course, we should also be looking at things that you're already doing really well and commit to maintaining them in the new year. So maybe you're someone who does great at sleeping, you're really consistent with getting up in the morning and getting in your run, and you just love what you're doing. Great. Let's keep doing that. I think too often in this never-ending cycle of trying to improve and become better, we fail to express gratitude for the things that we know we're good at. So let's recognize that. Let's acknowledge some of the things that we're really good at while also being aware of all the things that we can add and subtract from our training. And if we can have this kind of a mentality around the whole new year, new you phenomenon that happens in January, which I think is valuable, which I think we should harness and take advantage of this psychological opportunity. If we can do that, I know we're gonna have a much more productive 2023, and I hope that strength running can be a very small part of that as you chase after your best and most exciting running goals this year.